Welcome back, True Seeker. January 4th, 2019. Before we get into what's current in the news, let's start off with this day in history. I like to use this website, cleveland.com, for this day in history. I think they have a good collection of historical artifacts. Their highlighted story for this day was January 4th, 1965. President Lyndon B. Johnson delivered his State of the Union address in which he outlined the goals of his great society. And what jumped out to me about the phrase great society, of course, was the Gematria. And when I looked at these numbers, the first one that really stuck out was the 177, because New World Order has a Gematria of 177, and JFK died 177 days after his birthday. At least so we're told. Of course, the other numbers jump out too. JFK was killed in the middle of Dealey Plaza, named after a Scottish Rite Freemason. Scottish Rite equals 57. The word Freemason and conspiracy, as well as U.S. president, sums to 147, like the 147 windows on the White House. New World Order also sums to 69. So Great Society has double overlap with New World Order in these same two ciphers. But JFK dead 177 days after his birthday. Sure, to the New World Order, they do believe they're forming just such a great society based on lies and distractions and perversion and everything else we see in this world. Also on this day, 1896, Utah became the 45th state. January 4th, we write that 1/4 like 14. Utah equals 14 in the most pure cipher. How perfect. And maybe coincidental, maybe not. 96 is a big Freemason number. And when most people think of Utah, they think of the Mormon Church. They don't want to be called that anymore. They want to be called the Church of Latter-day Saints. But you can ask any Mormon or Latter-day Saint missionary that comes to your door if they know that their church is controlled by Freemasonry, and they'll tell you what it is. You know, they all know that. Excuse me. 96, big Freemason number. And 45, big Holy Bible number. Excuse me, True Seeker. Didn't realize my throat was dry until I started this. May Nunu, can you bring me some water, please? Good thing my lady's still home from school break. All right. In 1943, on this day, Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin made the cover of Time as Man of the Year for the year 1942. Thank you. All right, I'm all better. Girlfriend to the rescue. All right. So Stalin, Man of the Year in 42. Of course, this is during the time of the World War. Notice Stalin's 42, World War's 42, War's 42. How perfect. Just last night, I uploaded a video about Paul McCartney's supposed death, November 9th, 1966. And how that synced up with the Sgt. Pepper's album 199 days later. Paul McCartney equals 199, the 46th prime. It's talking about how often people die suspiciously at age 46. And little did I know that I'd be looking at this day in history the next day, seeing we have the death of a man at age 46 in a car crash. Like I said yesterday, when you look at the history of murder by numbers, you just see how often 46 pops up. This man was Albert Camus. He died in France, the very Masonic nation that it is. And the word sacrifice equals 46. And from his birthday to his death was 58 days later, or a span of 59. Freemasonry has the Gematria of 58 and 59. But in terms of 58, in dying January 4th, his name was Albert Albert equals 58, as well as 41 in our base ciphers. And think about today, January 4th, 4/1. What a perfect day to die for an Albert. By the way, with regards to it being a span of 59 days, again, Freemasonry is 59 in Hebrew and in English. If you write out the word accident with the alphabetic order, it sums to 59. Dead in a car accident on his 59th day of his age, or 58 days after his birthday, and arguably the most Masonic nation there is. Keep in mind, January 4th can also be written 1/4, like 14. Dead equals 14, end equals 14. His name, Albert Camus. Gematria of 115 and 74, killing 115 and 74, Masonic 74 and 115. And let me just check one more thing. Maybe I'm wrong here. Does France have the connection to this number? Yeah, it does. France is also 115, as well as 34. And if you noticed, his name had the Gematria 34 too. Don't forget, Freemasonry is 139, the 34th prime number. So, dead in France as well to add to the riddle. Also, on this day in history, 1964, Pope John Paul VI began a visit to the Holy Land, Israel. And before, the Pope had never done this. Why 64? Well, of course, as we know, the papacy, the Vatican, it does everything by this code. It's likely what's responsible for spreading this code across the world. The English language was first crafted once upon a time by a Catholic monk. They also gave us the Gregorian calendar, which this code is synced up with, But again, Israel and Zion, they both sum to 64. When you take the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Synagogue of Satan is 64. And who are they? They're the false Jews, the same people who occupy the Holy Land now. It's what the beauty of Gematria is. You can see why things were done, when they were done in modern history. Everything is executed by this code. And people are even executed by this code, as sick as that is. So, one of the top stories yesterday, didn't catch this in time for the live stream, but I thought we'd talk about it today. It's another beautiful example of how news and sport come together. In December, we talked about Steph Curry being criticized by the media for questioning the authenticity of the moon landing. Was it a conspiracy? So, true to form, last night, Steph Curry comes out and he wears moon landing shoes that were to be auctioned off to raise money for STEM, which is a program that raises money for the education system for mathematics and science. I want you to see how beautifully all of this comes together. Last night, Steph Curry was playing the Houston Rockets. And of course, Houston has the NASA headquarters, the Johnson Space Center. Keep in mind, this happened January 3rd, the date we write 1/3, like 13, like the 13 cycles of the moon. Like how on this same day, China supposedly landed their moon rover on the dark side of the moon 33 days before the Chinese New Year, which is a lunar new year. Lunar equals 33. Amazing how they sync that up. 33 days with the Chinese New Year. Lunar's 33, so is rover. Anyway, this was all on the same day. Steph Curry's moon landing shoes, China landing a rover on the moon, New World Order, hello, doing everything by the same code, English being the language that it's all executed by, the Gregorian calendar as well. The other thing about the date January 3rd is it can be written 3/1, and they were facing Houston, and Houston's 31. Houston ended up picking up their 22nd win in Oakland. Oakland's 22. But check this out. Check this out. STEM, raising the money for STEM with the moon landing shoes. Look at the gematria of STEM, 57, 51, just like moon. like conspiracies 51 and 57, and this whole thing started with Steph Curry accusing the moon landing of being a conspiracy, which he's since apologized for and said he needs to get better educated. So now he's raising money for the education system, which, as we know, most of us who've been through it, is a farce. It's more about mind control and conditioning, and it's more about socialization than education, making you a citizen. So, in light of the big NASA tribute from Steph Curry, guess how many points he scored? 35. Can you see that? Steph Curry with 35 points. So the big NASA tribute, 35. And what's NASA equal? Of course, 35. And what do we say? And what do we prove again and again? Every game scripted from the final score to the box score. You want to check out the box score? Here, I'll just show you real quick. James Harden, the star of the Rockets, he scored 44 points. Let me see if I can zoom that in there. It's probably too small on your screen. Can you make that out? James Harden with 44, the leading scorer. Talked about James Harden in 44 many times before. Rockets 44, James Harden 44, space 44. And that was the theme of the evening. So you can't make this stuff up. On the same day, we get a Chinese moon landing. Steph Curry wears his moon landing shoes. There's no mention of that in the article, just all about how on December 10th, Steph Curry, he came out and he said the moon landing was a joke. I pointed it out then. That was 271 days after his birthday, which is the 58th prime number, and Freemasonry's 58, Secret Society's 58, NASA was established in 58. It's also a date with 33 numerology, December 10, 2018, Stephen's 33, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33, which again factors back into the Chinese lunar landing of the same day, 33 days before the Chinese New Year. Too much. All right, so I just put up a short video on this. In case you missed the video, I'll give it to you again, plus one other thing I forgot to say. If you missed the video, it was hilarious. YouTube kept it at 0 views for a long time. Look, 0 views, 1 comment, 19 thumbs up. 0 views, 25 likes. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, are they ever going to give it any views? And then just all of a sudden, it went from 0 to 223. And for all I know, it's still at 223 because it was just staying there as the comments and likes were changing. I was like, what a joke. What a joke, YouTube. Anyway, more importantly, let's talk about this story in case you missed that video I just put up. Today is January 4th. This is one of the top stories this morning. Airstrike kills terrorist behind USS Cole bombing. Supposedly, the terrorist was killed New Year's Day, January 1st, 2019. Today is, again, January 4th, the day of the news. Date written 4/1 throughout the world. 4/1's like 41. January 1st, 2019 was a date with 41 numerology, the day he was supposedly killed. Just like September 11th, 2001 was a date with 41 numerology. Supposedly he was a member of Al-Qaeda responsible for the USS Cole attack, as well as the September 11th, 2001 attack. Al-Qaeda, with the alphabetic order, as simple as it gets, 41. One of my earliest observations way back when in 2013 when I started this work. Back then, I did not know reverse gematria, but again, the reason we were able to appreciate reverse gematria and understand it was relevant is because we'd been just studying the code with the regular alphabetic order for so long. Notice how USS Cole with the reverse alphabet is 41, fitting in with the theme. Of course, USA is 41. They said the USS Cole attack was off the coast of Aden, Yemen, which has this gematria of 41. 41. And the attack was off the coast of Yemen. They said the terrorist was killed in Yemen on the first day of 2019. Notice Yemen's 19, like Cole. Does it remind you of the 19 terrorists on September 11, 2001? And think about this. Why are they planting this seed at the beginning of this year? Why? Why? Is it because they have something planned for us later this year? Again, it's 2019. Chaos equals 19. The agenda is order out of chaos. We talked about why the 17-year anniversary of September 11th was so important, which was earlier. Well, I can't say this year. I guess just at the end of last year, September 11th, 2018 was the 17-year anniversary. We talked about why that's the most important anniversary since the day of. Again, it had to do with the Pentagon turning 77 years old from its date of construction, which was September 11th, 1941. Also had to do with what was going on in the classroom that George W. Bush was in, where the children were chanting "Kite, plane, steel, hit, must." And the pet goat, page 153, was on the board. The pet goat equals 153. 153 is the 17th triangular number, big number with masonry. They also said that 17 people were killed in the USS Cole attack. So anyway, I don't think it's any accident that at the beginning of 2019, we're getting a reminder about this narrative. Al-Qaeda, USS Cole, September 11th. Not at all. The name of the terrorist killed, Jamal Ahmed Maham Ali al-Badawi, Gematria 111, like New York, like how September 11th leaves 111 days left in the year. Don't forget the day that George H.W. Bush died, November 30th, to August 11th. The date we're looking at is 254 days later. The terrorist name in reverse also sums to 168, like New York City. The USS Cole attack was on October 12th, a date that can be written 10/12, 1012, lose the zero. You have 112, the alt dialing code for 911. 112 is the most popular dialing code for emergency services in the world, and it works in the US too. If you dial 112 on your phone, you'll be connected to 911. And just in case you missed the video, I also pointed out that they said that the USS Cole attack was at 11:18 in the morning. That reminds me of November 18th, the 322nd day of the year, 322, the Yale Skull and Bones number. And we know about George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush and 322 and September 11th. And we know how important numbers are to these people. Again, we're talking about a secret society that identifies by a number. With regards to the 39 injured, I mean, what city got hit? New York, where everything's 39 on 9/11? Probably wasn't an accident either. So here was a good story. You guys catch this one? This was one of the top headlines this morning. A man allegedly, always a key word there. You know, when the media reports allegedly, it didn't happen. A man allegedly chased a woman into a karate studio. It went just how you think. Cops say, that's another phrase. Anytime you should read that, you should question that one. Cops say a would-be kidnapper chased a woman into a karate studio. That was a bad move. So, story is that, you know, the woman ran into the karate studio. She yelled help. It was at the end of the night. The kids that were still there were cleaning up. The master of the dojo, is sensei the right term? He told the man to leave the woman alone. The man attacked the teacher. The teacher started to give him a whooping. He ran outside. The confrontation continued. He got even more of a whooping. But check this out. This happened yesterday, last night. They say this happened at 9 p.m. in Charlotte, January 3rd, 2019, a date with 43 numerology, right? Look at the Gematria karate. Runs into a karate studio. Okay, karate's 43. So you go, is it a coincidence? Well, what's the name of the teacher? Oh, his name is Mr. Ephraim. Oh, Ephraim 43. Just another day of coincidences. You know what I mean? My biggest gripe after doing this for all this time is that hardly anybody in the world is talking about Gematria, and almost everyone who does dismisses it every single day as a coincidence. It's not going to be day after day. You're using so many ciphers. No, not really. And for years, we just used 2 and saw pretty much all we needed to see, you know. Before, what we would have caught was Mr. Ephraim was 43 on the 43 date. Flip the alphabetic order around, karate's 43. I mean, what are the odds? Is 2 too many? think the problem is there's too few critically thinking people in the world. So there's probably even more to this story, but I'd already seen enough. If it's in the news, it's likely bogus. Speaking of bogus, how about Wall Street? Fed Chair Jerome Powell says he would not resign if Trump asked. Dow rises 600 points after Powell's comments. Really? I mean, really? That's what makes people throw in the money, huh? Oh, the Fed chair won't resign. I'm doubling down on Wall Street today. Confidence restored. Doesn't even make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And just as a little Gematria reminder, Freemasonry runs the show. Look at Jerome Powell, 5958, Freemasonry 5859. Remember how economics and Freemason go together? Perfect in all 4 base ciphers. The Masonic puppet show every single day. We predicted this roller coaster. I'm expecting the big drop-off to come at some point this year. 2019, the chaos number. The roller coaster ride for the U.S. stock market continues. Of course it does. Democrats pass bill to reopen government. Something interesting about the Democrats taking over all these seats in the Congress, riding the blue wave, as they called it. If there was such a blue wave, then how come the Republicans gained seats in the Senate? You know what I mean? Because before it was razor tight there in the Senate, the Republicans had a slight lead. Now they have a significantly bigger lead. Obviously, that was done on purpose to maintain the two-party political puppet show. Because now the Democrats can get what they want in the Congress, but they're not really going to be able to get anything in the Senate, which will just continue to keep it a stalemate where nothing happens. And it's just always the same thing in this nation. Well, except for in recent years when the Democrats had what they had. They had the Oval Office, they had the Senate, they had the Congress. For years, they've been griping about how horrible the Republicans were, how they needed to end these wars. And then they had it all. They had it all, and they did nothing. They did nothing. They did nothing. Not only did they not end the wars, they just did nothing. They didn't reverse a single thing. The only thing positive that happened in that period of time was crack sentencing was reduced, but it should have been reduced way more. It was reduced from like life sentences to 20 max years or something. If you can't see that DC is nothing but a joke, you can't see. And again, they made this bigger margin in the Senate so that the excuse can be there for, well, nothing will happen. There's not really any blue wave because it's just like this. The Democrats can pass this bill, but it's not going to pass the Senate, so nothing will happen. And couldn't help but notice the bill passed with 239 votes. Again, 239 is the 52nd prime. Government equals 52. President 52. The president says, the shutdown is his. Came out today and he said, I'm prepared for shutdown to last for years. Well, if that's true, a lot of people are going to be out of work for years. And I highly doubt that's going to happen. So I got to thinking about that. And I wanted to see how long the longest government shutdown ever was. And it turns out it was in 95, 96, and it lasted 21 days. That was the longest shutdown ever, 21 days. So I was thinking, will this shutdown become the longest ever? I mean, it seems likely that it will at this rate. It's over the wall, so I wanted to see what the smallest number was associated with wall that could still make sense. The smallest number in the base ciphers with wall is 12. Well, it can't be 12. We're already past 12 days. The next smallest is 24, which is possible. But when I looked at 24 and what 24 days would be, it would be January 15th. I said, if it is going to shut down around this time, I think it would make more sense for the shutdown to end. I think it would make more sense for it to end January 16th, in light of this being the 116th Congress and then being voted on November 6th. The other thing about January 16th is it would be 25 days, and time connects to 25. So does the name Trump. And we've seen a big theme with 25 and Trump throughout his presidency. He's owned the shutdown as his. Could it end on the 25th day, January 16th? We'll see. That would be very numerological. The other thing about January 16th, 2019 is it's a date with 56 numerology, and Washington, D.C. equals 56. So just some thoughts there. Another top story that emerged yesterday after the podcast was the arrest of an American by Russia. He's accused of being a spy. Supposedly, he had some sensitive government data on him when he was arrested. I want to show you what's so interesting about this man. His name's Paul Whelan. Paul Whelan's arrested. And look at his name in Gematria. 113, 41, 157, 49. I don't know if his name could be any more US/American. Paul Whelan equals 113. Let's start there. We know that this number has to do with the mainstream and deception and lies and the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. But it also has to do with the United States. The United States was named as such on September 9th, the day leaving 113 days left in the year. United States equals 113. Again, the United States of America is also 99. His name Whelan's also 99. When you write out 13, it equals 99. His name's also sums to 41, the 13th prime. Again, USA is 41, the nation that began with 13 colonies, 13 stripes. The word espionage sums to 91. That's the 13th triangular number. Espionage 91. As for the 157, United States equals 157. 157 is the 37th prime. American 37, an American arrested in Russia. His name also has the 49 Gematria. America 49. America is also 50, like the 50 states, like Paul's 50. And the story was that Paul was arrested last Friday, December 28th, 2018, a date with 58 numerology. Paul's also 58, like Freemasonry, like Rosicrucian, like secret society, like how Freemasonry runs the show in the US and Russia. Two nations that are both part of the New World Order, the Zionist world order. Say he was a former Marine, was Paul. Another thing that caught my attention last night, big drug company merger, and for $74 billion. What do we know about 74? Notice the company that bought Celgene, the other company, Bristol Myers Squibb, their name equals 115. Earlier today, we talked about 74 and 115, the big Masonic numbers. Talked about that in This Day in History, the death of the man in France at age 46. This merger happened January 3rd, 2019, a date with 43 numerology. So in our base ciphers, we have a Masonic value of 43, 74, 115, a $74 billion merger. Are we to think that's a coincidence? Pharmaceutical giants. Something I've talked about since the early days of this research is how they love to pair 74 and 33 together. The name of the company that was purchased, Celgene 33, purchased for $74 billion. Again, it's so obvious that the numbers are a language to these people. You know, it's like putting 74 and 33 together as a Masonic sentence. It's like proper Gematria grammar for the 74 and 33 to come together. Pharmaceuticals, one of the things that runs this world. Other big story today is how QAnon, this is the first time I've seen QAnon get mentioned by CNN. Never seen CNN cover QAnon before, but noticed it today. QAnon, the obvious psyop that so many people are fooled by, the online YouTube, Twitter-driven psyop that has many people thinking Donald Trump is here to fight the New World Order. They went after the newest and youngest and probably cutest puppet in Congress, Ocasio-Cortez, and they went after her for a high school/college. I can't decide which one it is because some sources are saying she was in high school, some are saying she was in college. It doesn't matter. But it's this old clip of her dancing on a roof. Now, she is wearing a Boston University shirt, which might allude to she's actually in college. But then again, high school kids do wear college shirts. Maybe she was going to go there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they found this video of her dancing when she was younger, doing this dance routine on the roof. And I guess they attempted to smear her with it. Call it a coincidence, but they posted this of her dancing on the rooftop on January 2nd, 2019, a date with 42 numerology. We know how symbolic that number is. But rooftop also has the Gematria of 42. This is when QAnon put it out there. Her dancing on the roof. The QAnon tweet wrote, "Here is America's favorite commie know-it-all acting like the clueless nitwit she is." It's from the anonymous Q 1776. So, I mean, it is a really dumb strategy. I mean, the whole Q thing is really dumb, but almost anybody who watches this video is going to like her more. You know, most people like dancing. They like seeing people have a good time. You know, she's somewhat attractive. She's not going to get many haters for this video. But at the same time, what it really reminds us of, and here's today's follow-up story. Today, she posted on Twitter her dancing outside of her new congressional office. It really just reminds us that politics is here to entertain us and distract us. And for most people, that's all it is. And it's almost like a sports game, a competition. Oh, I cheer for this side. I hate the other side. Love this side no matter what they do. And that's what you see in politics. It's like, I remember the Democrats when, George W. Bush was president and the wars were going on. You talk to most Democrats, they were just so upset about the wars. And then they got Obama in there, and then they had everything, and the Democrats didn't do anything about the wars. And it's like they didn't even care anymore. And it goes that way for both political parties. It's like nobody really stands for anything. They just care more about their political parties in control. Their man's in the big office. They got the most seats. It's like nobody really cares beyond that. They'll just make excuses all day. Republicans, Bill Clinton was the worst man ever when, he was caught lying under oath about, messing around with Monica Lewinsky. Oh, those Democrats, they got no moral values, no family values. Look at the Republican Party 20 years later. They got the pussy groper, and they don't even care. I can grab a woman by the pussy because I'm rich. I'm famous. It's crazy when you look at it, I noticed they had the 29-year-old in room 229 as well. 229, the 50th prime. I think she's going to be the face of America. She's obviously already become the face of the Democratic Party. And, I mean, you look at all of these stooges in office, I mean, who is there to like? McConnell, he looks like a turkey. He's the face of the Republicans. Jeff Snowflake melted away. You forgot Jeff Flake was from Snowflake, Arizona? He was. Remember when he flaked out? All just a coincidence. But, yeah, you see what they're trying to do right now in politics. They're trying to really energize young people. They want all the young people to come out and give up all their liberties so that Big Brother can keep them safe from Madame Lanza. That's the way I see this. This young woman, she's become like, I mean, have you ever heard about anybody else in the last, 2 or 3 months? It's been the Ocasio-Cortez show. So anyway, they're going after those young people. They're scaring them every day in school with the lockdown drills. Just wait until winter break's over. We're due for our next school shooting. How long until somebody brings in the 3D printed gun? In other news, Herb Keller, dead at 87. And he died January 3rd, died yesterday. And Southwest Airlines is out of Dallas. So I started thinking, dead at 87, Dallas, what's that remind me of? Well, I got these numbers stored in my head pretty good. So Dallas is 13, right? Dead January 3rd, Dallas chain. The 87 jumped out in a big way because of the NFL. Another 13 production. This week in Dallas, we got a playoff game. The Cowboys versus the Seahawks, and both teams Their names sum to 87. I love that the over-unders at 43. If you take the most pure cipher, Dallas Cowboys equals 43. Seattle Seahawks equals 43. When you flip the alphabetic order around, football's 43. Seahawks won their only Super Bowl with 43 points. The other year for Thanksgiving, the Cowboys donated Ford pickup trucks to Fire Station 43 in Dallas. Don't forget, Ford equals 43 too. But this is what we see every year when the playoffs roll around and sports roll around. We start seeing celebrities and people in high places dropping dead in connection to the games. You couldn't tell me this was a coincidence. A dead 87-year-old right before this matchup, the Battle of the 87s in Dallas. No way. Southwest, for the record, also sums to 33 like Cowboys. Seahawks even sums to 33 as well. Seahawks are the only team to ever win the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. And I guess for one more 87, which I should show you, the word airlines does have gematria of 87. He's one of the founders of Southwest Airlines. Had another death here, unexpected death. The football coach at Johns Hopkins dropped dead at age 58. He was planning to coach many more years, dead at 58. And remember, Johns Hopkins was just part of the big NASA achievement on New Year's Day. You can remember that story. But I couldn't help but notice Johns Hopkins, gematria of 58, like Freemasonry. Johns Hopkins, 158, like Freemasonry. Johns Hopkins, 59, like Freemasonry. Wonder why he died at 58, huh? He got the old King James treatment. Couldn't help but notice he finished his career there with 221 wins either. The Bavarian Illuminati number, which is Freemasonry. Date of his death was a date with 42 numerology. Freemason, also 42. Jim Margraff. I'm not even sure if I decoded his name. Let's just look at it. I just got too excited with the 58 thing. Jim Margraff. Margraff, you see the 43 there? Masonic 43, football 43. Remember, American football is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp, who went to Yale. I forget the big Alex Smith ritual we saw with Joe Theismann earlier this year on the day leaving 43 days left in the year. I didn't do the most thorough decode here, but it was the 58 thing. Unexpected death, dropped dead from a heart attack. How do those lyrics go? Murder by numbers, not putting something in somebody's coffee. Here's another good one. We have a dead 46-year-old. Walt McKeel, former Boston Red Sox. Who just won the World Series this year? Walt McKeel, 57, World Series 57, dead at 46, sacrifice 46. The Boston Red Sox world champions 46. He died 16 days before his upcoming birthday. 53 is the 16th prime. Boston Red Sox got it. Remember in July, we said if the Red Sox made the World Series, they'd probably win in Game 5 because it was 99 days before the Super Bowl. The 99th NFL season. You know, there's another football team that gets a lot of scripted championships for them, not too far from where the Red Sox play. Walt McKeel, dead on New Year's. New Year's has that gematria 38 like death. Just wanted to comment on this story. I saw this headline yesterday. Danny Ainge came out and said LeBron is taking the Trump approach to selling himself. Here the headlines emphasize Danny Ainge, LeBron James may be taking Donald Trump approach with greatest of all time remarks. In case you missed it, LeBron came out and said he was the greatest of all time the year he won the championship on the real King James's birthday. The most money we ever won for our followers in a single day. I'm guessing I probably won people millions of dollars literally, just based on the comments that were left in the video. Again, the Cavs were down 3-1. It paid 40-1 for them to come back and win on King James's birthday. And I don't like to throw around that guarantee word, but I did say I guarantee the Cavs come back and win it on King James's birthday. I'd also guaranteed the Cavs were going to win on King James's birthday since before the season began that year. Anyway, LeBron and Trump, let's not forget that these guys have been linked at the hip since that summer. Remember, Donald Trump had his GOP convention in Quicken Loans Arena where the Cavs played. And as we pointed out then, Cleveland equaled 48, James 48, Donald Trump 48, Wall 48, Freemason 48. LeBron James got the hit TV show about the wall. Donald Trump was running on building a wall. This news came January 3rd, 1/3 like 13. King James became a king at 13 months of age. He won that championship in his 13th season. When you write out 13 as a word, it sums to 45, like how Donald Trump's number 45. This phrase here, taking the Trump approach, sums to 117. When you write out 13, it also sums to 117. When you write out Ohio in Jewish Gematria, it's 117. This emphasized phrase, Donald Trump approach, a little bit different, sums to 99. When you write out 13, it's also 99. Even better, Donald Trump approach with the alphabetic order sums to 216, like how Cleveland's the 216 area code, like how the last game played in Quicken Loans Arena the year the Cavs won the championship was Game 6, and the final score of both teams summed to 216 points. Before they went on to win it in Oracle Arena, the Warriors went down on King James's birthday with 89 points, where King James equals 89 with the alphabetic order, like religion, like the 89 chapters in the gospel. And don't forget that 216 is the product of 6 times 6 times 6, game 6, 216 points, bringing these two back again. And then the other kicker was after LeBron won the championship and after Trump won the election, both of which were rigged for the two respective men, they both met in the White House on the same exact day. They were both in the White House on the same day to be congratulated by Obama. And not only that, but it was a Thursday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Thursday night football was the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cleveland Browns. What's funny about that? Well, the Baltimore Ravens used to be the Cleveland Browns. So you can see why they're still paying tribute to these two men, coding these two numbers. It just never ends. The evidence for Gematria, always overwhelming. And they bring up the Golden State Warriors 73 wins that season. Remember, Steph Curry born on the 73rd day of the year. And here we are this year in the 73rd NBA season. 73 is the 21st prime. Lakers equals 21. And also January 3rd, 2019, the day of these headlines, date with 23 numerology. LeBron James wears the number 23. Donald equals 23. So does the word king. King James, King Donald. Here's another good one. 33-year-old Crystal Mostek pleads guilty to threatening to blow up a 7-Eleven, January 2nd, 2019. You guys remember my recent video, The Secret Jewish History of 7-Eleven? That was based on an article that was put out there in a Jewish publication. We talked about how Slurpee, summed to 33, among other terms that are part of the Go Yum product line 7-Eleven offers. Go Yum, Secret Jewish History. This picture right here, I mean, is this even a real person? I just don't know. What stands out, though, are her initials, CM. In Jewish Gematria, C is 3 and M is 30, so CM is 33. She's 33 years old. Mostek, 33, was charged following an April 2018 incident. So this happened earlier, April 8th of 2018, but the news comes January 2nd, 2019. It's the day this story first broke. That was a date with 42 numerology. Her name, Crystal Mostek, equals 181, the 42nd prime number. 33, 42, big numbers to Freemasonry. Freemasonry based in what? Jewish knowledge. Stars of David all over Masonic temples. The secret Jewish history of 7-Eleven. Speaking of 33, Britney Spears is in the headlines today. She's calling off her planned Las Vegas show, which is supposed to launch next month because her father's not doing well. Guess how many days it is from Britney Spears' birthday? From her birthday, December 2nd, to today is 33 days later. Hearing about Britney. Heard about Britney Spears in a long time. Today's can also be written 4/1, like 41. Las Vegas has the Gematria 41. The show is supposed to be in Vegas. And seemed like all of the media was emphasizing indefinite work hiatus. Indefinite work hiatus. That phrase has Gematria of 105. Also, like her full name, Britney Jean Spears. Don't forget, masonry equals 105. So does Zionism. Who controls entertainment? We'll have to see what happens there with Britney's dad. She's going to turn 38 at the end of this year. Watch out, Britney. And also, we've been talking about the death of Mean Gene and the skit he once performed in with Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, foreshadowing the destruction of the World Trade Centers, or should I say demolition. I pointed out the other day that Hulk Hogan's birthday is August 11th, 2019. It's interesting that this year, August 11th, 2019, that'll be the day WWE hosts their event SummerSlam. Here it is right here, Sunday, August 11th. And remember, that's the date of Tisha B'Av. That's why we're really watching that date. I noticed that SummerSlam equals 134, like Tisha B'Av, like 9th of Av. And again, with that being Hulk Hogan's birthday and him being part of the predictive programming for September 11th, and again, it was September 11th, 2018, where these stories were circulating about the red heifer and the coming third temple, and how the prophecy of the third temple is connected to Tisha B'Av, and how those stories synced up with Tisha B'Av in this coming year, 2019. I'm just going to add this down as one more note for why we're keeping an eye on August 11th. The WWE is obviously part of the predictive programming. We've talked about how natural disaster equals 223. August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. I don't know how else they could do anything to the Golden Gate Bridge, which has all this predictive programming for it, which is something we're watching for that day. Again, the mayor of San Francisco, the 45th mayor, is going to turn 45 years old August 11th, 2019, and Golden Gate's 45, like Holy Bible, like how all of this is biblical prophecy, like how the Jewish Messiah is supposed to arrive through the Golden Gate at the time of the third temple. So I'd like to be wrong about it all, but at the same time, if they do have big plans for that date, which it seems that they've indicated, it's going to be a lot more people that wake up. Then again, a lot more people should already be woken up. We've already predicted enough correct. Way too much. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. I'm going to be back on in a little more than 2 hours for the playoff game decodes this weekend. You got to be on Patreon for that. Starts at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Thank you, everyone, for listening and supporting and sharing. And Miss Mildred, if you're out there, your package arrived today. You are very generous. I thought you were sending me 1 can of canned beans, and you went all out. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to digging into those. Very generous of you. Appreciate you a lot. And guess we'll be back Monday. It's Friday already. Be back Monday with episode 43. I'll probably be back online on YouTube many times before then, but the next podcast, Monday. We do this Monday through Friday. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.